Okay, welcome back to another instalment of how not to do videos. I noticed my last video on YouTube I think was a little bit skew with. Hopefully you guys know how to sort that out. But hopefully this one will be a little bit better then. Beautiful day out there today, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to go for a lovely walk later. Anyway, back to business. So last week I sort of gave you so did a couple of videos sort of showing focusing on question 2 really. What is question 2, what you need to do, the mark scheme, etc. And then I sort of said, you can crack on with some revision. Then you can start looking at comparing the two texts of Dorian Gray and Dracula. But I thought I'd show you what I've done, how I'd revise, and hopefully this might help you. So to begin with, I'm just going to show the question paper again. We're going to focus on this question. Gothic writing frequently explores the battle between good and evil. So you'll be given a statement, and then you have to compare two texts. In this case, obviously, we look at Dracula and Dorian Gray. We're going to focus on good and evil. So, right, okay. So if I just put this here, right. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So there you go. Perfect. Right, question 2 on the Gothic paper. Just a quick recap: 001, 003, 004, 005. If you look at the videos previously, that you'll see that in a lot of detail. Now, if you remember in the last video as well, I sort of broke it down then. Really, so I guess we sort of think about context, comparing the texts, want critiques really in this one, terminology, and we realistically we might need a couple of quotations to explore ideas. Okay, so I'm going to show you a mind map in a moment, and in my mind map I want to be really hitting this. I want to be hitting these AOs, so I want to be having perhaps moments of context, comparing the text, etc. So here's my mind map. I looked at good versus evil. A little bit small, isn't it? Hopefully, I'll move it in a moment, but I'll talk you through it. So, good versus evil. Up the top, I've put relevant Gothic terminology. Now, I gave you this sheet right at the beginning of the year. When you do your own mind maps, you might want to get this sheet out. It might help you. You might want to look through some keywords that could be relevant for that theme. So I've put uncanny, sublime, fear of the unknown, entrapment, supernatural. A few words that I might want to use if I was looking at good versus evil. There might be others, but I've just put a few down. I've then put relevant theorists. So we've got Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Sigmund Freud, and I've just put their ideas of nature versus nurture, the ego and the id that might be relevant in this question. Relevant critiques. I'll just zoom in a little bit. I've just picked out a quotation from a lady called Carol Margaret Davison. The Victorian era explored the dark recesses of the human. And also looked at Imperial Gothic, threat of going native or demonic colonial forces. Now, you might say, where do I get that? Where have I got that from? So, let me show you. Bang. Come out of here. You go to Teams. And you go into Gothic. And I went to, was this one for Dorian Gray, theorists and critics, and I just clicked on the top one. So I'm doing sort of, if imagine I'm sort of you, a student, this is what you can be doing, sort of just clicking on those. And then I didn't even I didn't read it all. I just, sort of literally skim read through it. And I got to here, page 220. I know I've got to sort of scroll down maybe to 222. Here, and I just skim, and this caught my eye. It says that exhibits anxieties about racial and social degeneration, the threat of going native, and the invasion of Britain by demonic colonial forces. So I thought this is perhaps relevant to what we are looking at. And I've got to scroll back up here. It's from History of the Gothic, and it's by Carol Margaret Davison. So that's the little thing that you can be doing for your mind maps. You can be coming into things like this, literally skim read. Don't need to read it all. It's quite time consuming, and I will then add things to my mind map. Voila, there we go. I've then put sort of context and ideas. If you go to the same area that I just went to in Teams, you will find some contextual factors. But also even little things like, I think I gave you this sheet. So if you go through your notes, there might be some things there that you might like to pick out that again might be relevant. So basically what I'm saying to you, when you create a mind map, it is about doing your research, going through your notes, and I guess you're kind of just repeating yourself. That's revision, isn't it? Repeat. I put a little key vocabulary block there: violation, mercy, oppressive, power control, paradox, hedonism, and then finally character comparison. So this idea of comparing here, some ideas there. You might disagree with them, nothing wrong with that. You might agree with them. So that's, and possible quotations at the top. So that was a little mind map for good versus evil. But like I say, use your notes, use the stuff on Teams, and that will help you to create your mind maps. What I'd say as well is that where I said a moment ago, repeat, with your mind maps as well. If I just go on to the next page, I'm going to give you some suggestions for your mind maps. So women, violence, power, marriage, religion, gender roles, youth, transformation. But with your mind maps, you might end up repeating things. There's nothing wrong with that. For example, you might even put the same critique quotations again for marriage, for example. You might just use the same theorist again. There's nothing wrong with repeating it so long as it's going into your head. That's essentially the idea of a mind map, isn't it? To start to remember things. So when you're given that essay question, you have things to talk about. There are things in your head. You've remembered the odd critique quote. You remember Freud's theory about the ego and the id. You remember one or two quotations from the text. So there's nothing wrong with repeating bits within the mind maps. I think that's practically it then, and hopefully that helps. Let me just have a look at my notes. Yeah, I hope that's it really. So when you mind map, just to end on, perhaps over the next week or two, you might want to choose 2 or 3 of those themes and do a similar mind map to what I've done. And as you do it, just think, are you hitting these AOs in your mind map? Okay. Like usual, any questions or anything, feel free to email, send on Teams. Hope you're all okay. hopefully see you soon. Take care.